Hey guys, welcome back. Ashley D. Will here, author, teacher, life coach. So today I want to talk about finding repressed memories. Looking for and seeking repressed memories. If any of you are like me, I love to understand things. And my desire to understand things often greatly exceeds my desire to avoid pain and suffering. So that's my dilemma. I want to understand something so much that I'm willing to go through it again to be able to get an understanding. And so this is kind of what happened lately with me. I've shared with y'all in the complex trauma video series 1 through 4, I believe it is, that I had a traumatic experience of complex trauma when I was 5 years old. I rode on a van from wherever my mom dropped me off to this school, and on the van were two boys. I was in kindergarten. They must have been third, fourth, or fifth grade because they were huge to me. I was at the lowest level and they were way up on the totem pole. And there were two of them and there was one of me. They were both guys. I was a little girl. And there weren't too many other people on the van as far as I can remember. And I had asked the driver, I think twice. I mustered all the courage I could. And I said something to her like, those boys are being mean to me. I'll make them stop, or something like that. And she just totally dismissed me and kind of made light of it. And that was just an extremely crushing experience. And so I had always felt that I had, dealt with that and grieved over it and felt that, because I know that that's where some of the lies that I believed, I'm helpless, I'm powerless, I'm worthless, and I must suffer, began. That was a huge place of entry for the lies because that was a huge traumatic wound. But I have been asking the Lord like the last couple of months, just kind of casually, Lord, why can't I remember kindergarten? And kindergarten was the year that I, got bullied on the van. And so I just felt like there was more there, though. So I've been asking him, why can't I remember kindergarten? Why can't I remember kindergarten? And, he has designed the human brain to draw a black curtain over things that are too much or too painful or that we can't process. And so there can be a death, or you can go through some terrible experience and that mechanism kicks in. And so 20, 40, 60 years down the road, you can remember, wow, this terrible thing happened and I don't really remember it, or I never cried about it, or I never seemed to get upset about it. It's because that mechanism has taken over and it has buried or hidden the incident and the associated emotions with it so that you can continue to function. So this is a blessing and an ingenious way to design the human brain that the Lord did to preserve our functionality. But as you go up in years and you get older and you have more time where you can just reflect and the smoke and dust kind of settle from everything that you've been doing, you may have memories, little flickers of memories come up about times when you were much younger that you couldn't remember before. And so that was happening to me in the whole bullying on the van thing. That's how that started. But recently I've been asking him, why can't I remember kindergarten? Because I could remember all the grades I was in, all the teachers. Some I did not like at all. Some I loved to death. And I was so excited when I liked my teacher. But the point is that we're trying to find repressed memories. And so what I've done, if this could help you, or if you know someone who's going through something, this could help them, or if this happens to you, it will help you know what to do. So I've been asking the Lord about this. Lord, why can't I remember kindergarten? For a few months. And today is Tuesday. And so I think it was Thursday or Friday, these images and emotions and experiences started to kind of rumble inside of me. And it was as if that part that had been repressed for so long, he was allowing that part to awaken. And it was actually kind of scary. It felt terrifying because I was going to have to relive those days, those emotions, those experiences. And remember that the emotional brain has no logic and no linear format to it. It is all based on emotion and images, and nothing makes sense logically. But that's how the emotional brain works. That's how it was designed, okay? So I am feeling this huge, deep rumbling, like a volcano kind of inside me. And it felt like when I was 5 years old, the experience was happening, and then as my brain was processing that this is traumatic, and I kept aging up to 5.5, 6, 7, it's as if that chaos kind of compressed into my soul and slowly became a layer or a compartment. And the older I got, the farther down it was buried. And it was as if it was a layer of fossilized materials in the side of a mountain that you would find. You know, those layers. It felt like that had materialized way down, and it had been just pushed way down, and it was tight and dense, and it was hot, and it was very potent. And so it felt like that was awakening, and that it was kind of coming loose again, and that I was feeling the emotions and the terror. And during this process, I was able to see what was really going on during that year. And so in this process, the Lord showed me that I had a very abusive kindergarten teacher. Unbelievable. And so she did not like me. But although she didn't like me, the boy that I sat next to, he was a Hispanic boy, and his name was Oscar. She despised him, and I don't know why. But every day she would yell at him, "Oscar!" And she would look at him with these mean eyes. And see, I was right beside him, and so I was getting all of that rage that she had toward this little boy named Oscar, because I was kind of in the firing zone, right? So she didn't like me at all, and I felt that the whole time. And I mentioned something to my mom about, she's so mean, you know, but it wasn't like it is today. If you were bullied or abused back then, it was just tough luck. You could cry out for help, but people would dismiss you or say you're too sensitive or whatever, and so you just had to suck it up and deal with it. So that's what I have had to do. But remembering this has been very disturbing, and it has explained a lot of things that I struggle with even today. So I'm always trying to understand what's going on inside of me and be able to connect the present to the past and be able to see things for what they are so that I can deal with them more easily. So that's kind of what this is all about, and this is why it's kind of a part-time job and a fun, in many ways, but not always, project for me to explore my inner world and travel back in time, if you will, to the places where I have been arrested developmentally through traumas and different things. So, but the point was that there was a lot of trauma going on at that time, and I had to endure it. Toward the end of the year, it must have been in May, because my birthday is in May, everyone whose ever birthday it was, they had to go to the front of the class, and they had to stand there, and everyone had to stand up and sing happy birthday to the child in the front of the room. And then when that was over, everyone sat down, but the child in front of the room alone had to sing back to the class, "I'm 5 years old," or "I'm 6 years old," whatever age it was, it must have been 5 or 6, back to the class. And so I was having little flickers of memories of me going up there and having everyone sing to me and wanting to run back to my chair. And then she said, okay, now it's time for you to sing I'm 5 years old back to the class. I'm 5 years old, I'm 5 years old. And then, and I think I just looked at her and I shook my head and I looked down and she started yelling at me and she said, you must do it. And she wouldn't let me go back to my seat. And so I ended up singing it with tears streaming down my face to the class. It must have been just a whimper of a song, but I ended up doing it, and then she released me and I could go back and sit down. So this has been going on since last Thursday. It hasn't been a week yet, but I'm exploring this time in my life and the damage that that did to my heart and how that is affecting me today in my current relationships. My marriage in particular has been challenging at times. It's been wonderful in many ways, but there have been particular challenges, and so it helps me to understand what's going on so that I can deal with it. So another thing that I would recommend for any of you who are going through, trying to find or understand repressed memories is this happened to me 1970. It must have been the year of 69, 70 or 70, 71. But to listen, my recommendation is to listen to music of that era. Whatever you're trying to find or explore, listen to the music that would have been playing, whether it was pop music on the radio or whether you were in a family who listened to a certain type of music and those specific albums, whatever they were. Find the type of music that was playing and that was very familiar to you during that time. The reason I'm recommending this is because our emotions attach very strongly to melodies and to music. And so sometimes if you're having trouble locating a repressed memory, or you want to grieve over something but you can't find the tears, if you go to the music that was familiar to you at that time, it can often stir the event or whatever it is you're looking for. Okay? So the music can be the conduit from your heart to be able to find the tears that you need to find in the sorrow or the fear or the anger that you need to grieve. Okay, so I hope this is helpful, and I pray that if any of you are going through anything like this where you need to remember things and grieve them to purify your soul, to clean the inside of your cup, that you will feel validated in what you're doing, that you will know that it is not bigger than you are, and that it's not going to never stop. It's a process. It will begin and it will end. And that this is part of God's natural process of healing. Okay, so if this for me started late last week, and it's Tuesday of this week, and I feel like I can just breathe now. So that's why I'm doing this video, and I'm not sure how much longer it will last. It may be a couple of more days, it may be another week. But the more I give it permission to surface and the more I agree with God's process, kind of like when you're giving birth to a child, you agree, yes, it's time for this baby to come forth. It's time for her to be born. I agree. I'm allowing this baby to be born. You agree with it. It makes the process easier rather than fighting it or repressing it, because all of those memories and traumas are buried alive inside of you. Remember that. They're buried alive. And because they're buried alive, they have effects on you internally. Your physical health, your mental health, they affect all the different parts of you. And wherever your weakest link is, depending on how big the trauma is, that's where it can affect you the most and cause certain diseases and issues. Okay, so this is just an encouragement to be authentic, bare your soul before the Lord. This is no time to play games and pretend and act like things aren't the way they are. You are validated in whatever emotions you're having about the current situation you're in. You are supposed to feel that way, and the Lord wants you to accept your own feelings and your own perception about things. And when you do that, it makes it easier to agree with Him about everything He's done for you and in you and through you in the Spirit, so that you can agree with that, and it helps bring your spirit and your soul into unity more easily and more quickly as you proceed on your journey. All right, so if you have any questions, you can put them in the comment section. If you want to email me at ashleydwill Gmail, you're welcome to do that, and I can help you. But I just want to give a word of encouragement about the issue of finding repressed memories and trying to deal with them and understand what's going on, so that we can have more insight into our current heart, our current situation, our current relationships, our current struggles. It is very insightful. So I hope this is helpful, and I pray that you will all listen and follow the Lord a little bit more closely each day, week, month, year, and that His will be done in your life, and that you have a blessed day. I'll see you next time.